Holy Gospel according to John, the 20th chapter, a la Dr. Seuss. Well, they said at night it happened, and it was just quite scary. The door was locked. They felt secure from soldiers, torture, very. So there they were in all their fear, when suddenly they spied him. They saw then Jesus in their midst, and it did terrify them. They were so shocked. How'd he get in? What could dead Jesus be for? What could the wounded hands and side be standing in the room for? We knew our guilt. We felt so bad. Love promised to the ending. But then we'd run, denied our part, when soldiers came arresting. We had got out so fast as we could go, sir. Jesus the man, the one we knew, they bound up tight, you bet, sir. Then after that, the night went slow, and in the night it happened. Peter alone just stood around, then quickly had denied him. Well, we had all gone hiding, and we wondered what to do. Our lives, our dreams all broken, and his God seemed absent too. He washed our feet and told us the pattern from God above. Hung upon the cross to die, suffering, this is the God of love? Now, saviors are not supposed to die, but save us with God's power. At least that is what I used to think before that strange encounter. Absent was I the night he came. I don't remember what doing. We had not trusted Mary's word, the Lord I've seen, proclaiming. Impossible, preposterous. How could she believe such things? She's just a woman, that we knew. In grieving to him she clings. And then he spoke. Here's what they said. Peace be with you, my friends. They must have looked all startled then, 'cause peace, he said again. Amazed remembered they his word the night before he died. God's peace he'd bring to us in life, our joy be multiplied. Jesus commissioned them, the weak-kneed, yellow-bellied ones, the ones who'd hid in fear and grief so much like I had done. He breathed on them the breath of life, gave to them his very role, to hurt with others, serve in need, facing death to make life whole. I missed it all, the word, the breath, his hands, his wounded side too. I thought them in denial, imagining things not true. The group, they're dreamers, not quite real. I try to use my head. Doubter I'm not, just want to know. I need to know, I said. I could not, did not trust them all together in that place. I too must touch him in each hand, my fingers in that space. But then a strange thing happened. Why, Jesus appeared once more. He came right up before me without even opening the door. No condemnation in his eyes, no judgment on his tongue. No halo, no overwhelming light, just presence, wounds, and love. My knees, they shook, my eyes were blurred. A realist I'd always been. In his presence I blurted out, my Lord and God who'd risen. This troubled world is our home, his people, you and I. It's not forsaken in God's eyes, but wondered, treasured, oh my. The gospel of the Lord. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and our Lord and Savior Jesus the Christ. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Jesus.
Jesus who?
Boy, have we got problems if you don't know who Jesus is. But seriously, we sometimes do struggle with just who Jesus is and what his life, death, and especially his resurrection means for us today. And if we adults aren't sure of the meaning, how much more difficult it can be for kids. Here's an example for you. While instructing a first grade class the week before Easter, a teacher showed the class a picture of the empty tomb with the stone rolled back. She asked, "What does Jesus' resurrection mean?" One young student was quick to raise both of his hands at the same time, shouting, "It means Jesus is on the loose." The boy was right. Jesus is unbound, released, and set free from the tomb of sin and death. He is on the loose. He can show up anywhere, anytime, to anyone, just as he did to those first disciples at that first Easter. Here's how it's described in 1 Thessalonians 4, according to the Message Bible. Since Jesus died and broke loose from the grave, God will most certainly bring back to life those who died in Jesus. Jesus has broken loose. Jesus is on the loose. And he wants us loosed as well. At the Chico's Pastor Conference a few years ago, we had the national bishops of both the ELCA and the Episcopal Church as speakers. Bishop Curry, the first African American to be elected as presiding bishop and primate of the Episcopal Church, spoke some of how Jesus came not just to be on the loose, but to set us loose, to liberate us. Listen to his description. The truly liberating truth is that Jesus didn't come into this world to found a religion, though religious faith is important. Nor did he establish a religious institution or organization, though institutions and organizations can serve his cause. Jesus came to continue a movement. Jesus picked up and took up the movement of John the Baptist to a new level. John was part of the movement born out of prophets like Amos and Isaiah and Jeremiah. And prophetic movement was rooted in Moses, who went up to the mountaintop. Jesus crystallized and catalyzed the movement that was serving God's mission in this world. God has a passionate dream for this world. Jesus came to show us the way out of the darkness and into the dream. In other words, Jesus is on the loose and has set us loose as well. The tomb couldn't hold Jesus. That's why it stands empty. Hell couldn't hold Jesus. That's why death has been defeated. Here's another story. Dr. Scott Johnston, pastor of a Presbyterian church in New York, said this to his congregation one Easter morning. Sometime today, my phone will ring, as it does every Easter. A voice on the other end will say, "Jesus is on the loose." And then I will hear the click of the connection ending. I know who it is. I know the voice. It is my roommate from seminary, sharing his unique Easter greeting with me. Every Easter, Dr. Johnson gets this same message from his old seminary roommate. Jesus is on the loose. And then his friend hangs up. Jesus is on the loose. He cannot be bound by death. Indeed, in his resurrection, God has conquered death. Jesus is risen and alive, present with each of us, even to this day. Ascended to be with his Father, but not remote from us. Far from it. Jesus is still intimately with us. Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. Jesus is on the loose. Even time cannot hold Jesus. He's still on the loose, as Dr. Johnston's roommate reminds us. Jesus is on the loose. Death was not strong enough to hold Jesus. He is out. He is risen. He is resurrected. He is alive. And he is after you. What do you do with a man who won't stay dead? Perhaps the better question is, what does a man who won't stay dead do with us? That is the million-dollar question, and the answer will change us. The answer is, Jesus loves you. Jesus forgives you. Jesus sets you loose. Jesus sets you free. Jesus walks with you. And you need to claim those truths. Because this Jesus who is dead and raised, this Jesus who is after you with his resurrection in order to free you, to loose you, pursuing you with his life-giving freedom, chasing you down with his grace and forgiveness, coming to you with his truth, comforting you with his love and promises, redeeming you with his life. Jesus is on the loose, and even heaven can't contain him or control him. One last story for you. St. Peter and St. Paul are at the pearly gates. Paul is looking through the book of names, and he says to Peter, there seem to be more people in heaven than there's supposed to be. Go find out what's going on. Peter runs off, and sometime later he returns to Paul. Paul says, did you find out why there are so many extra people here? Peter says, yes, it's Jesus. He's helping people over the back fence again. Jesus is like that. He's on the loose. And he's not above helping us over the back fence in order to set us free from death. He will do just about anything to set loose us mere mortals. Just as he went to his disciples again in order to set Thomas free from his despair, Jesus comes to us over and over again in order to save us from despair as well. Jesus is on the loose. Alleluia. Amen. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Oliver.
Oliver.
All of our joys come from the Lord. I invite you to stand as you are able for our hymn of the day, which is in your bulletin. Take time to be